Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Guys, the last review I said that I was going to review a Canadian whiskey, and this is it right here, 40 Creek Barrel Select. And guys, there are a couple reasons that why I wanted to review this whiskey. One, it's Canadian whiskey. We haven't reviewed too many Canadian whiskeys on here. Of all the whiskeys out there, I mean, it's probably the one I've tried the least. Or the kind I've tried the least. I'm a big bourbon guy. I love Scotch. I love Irish whiskey. I just don't drink too much Canadian whiskey, and just like all the other whiskeys I mentioned, Canadian whiskey has its own kind of taste, for the most part, that I've noticed. And I like Canadian whiskey, but I'm not in love with Canadian whiskey, as far as the ones that I've tried. This one here was kind of recommended. It's been recommended several times to me over the years. I've just never tried it out. And 40 Creek's got it's a good name. I hear good things about 40 Creek whenever I'm talking Canadian whiskey with somebody. And I thought I'd finally buckle down, give it a fair shake. And here we are. And another reason that I wanted to review 40 Creek was because when I was doing research on this product, I found out that the owner, the master distiller, the founder, John K. Hall, his name is John Hall, and he started out a Canadian winemaker. I live in Sonoma County, California. This is wine country here, and I love beer. I love whiskey, but you can't really be from here and be a, I don't want to use the word drinker, but you can't really live here and drink beverages without knowing something about wine. So I appreciate a good wine, guys, and a good winemaker, and I just thought it was kind of cool because John Hall, he started, I think 4 decades or so ago. He started making wine in Canada, and he always had a passion for whiskey. And he decided one day in the early '90s that he wanted to kind of do, not a crossover, but kind of flip over a little bit and try to make whiskey. I think he's still making wine too, but he wanted to make whiskey as well. It was kind of a lifelong dream for him. So, guys, being a winemaker, John Hall, he kind of did something that's more kind of wine related that you hear more about in wine. You hear about Meritage wines, just blended wines, and that's what he did with this whiskey, guys. His idea was to distill a corn whiskey, a rye whiskey, and a barley whiskey, all separately for 6 years in American oak barrels, 6 years apiece. And then after that 6 years, he blended those whiskeys together, and then I think he finished aging the whiskeys once they were blended. He aged for the last, I think, 6 or 9 months. He aged that whiskey in sherry barrels, which I thought was really interesting. That's definitely, kind of revolutionary stuff, in my opinion. Pretty cool. Great idea. John Hall, doubt he's probably not watching this, but if you are, John, then hats off to you, sir. That's a pretty interesting idea. But anyway, so when I read about that, guys, I said, I've got to try this stuff. I love stories like that. You guys know I like a good story to go along with my whiskey. So there it is. Open this up. And I believe this is just a 40 proof whiskey. Yeah. or 80 proof, sorry, 80 proof whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. 40 Creek Distillery, Grimsby, Ontario, Canada. And I believe Grimsby before it was called Grimsby was called the 40. 40 Creek is named after I think it's just 40 Creek in Canada, and I think I want to say it's like 40 miles long, or I'm not sure if it's 40 miles to Niagara Falls or something like that from this creek. So kind of cool. Anyway, it says at 40 Creek we are not so much bound by tradition as we are inspired by it. 40 Creek whiskeys are made with passion and patience to create award-winning crafted whiskeys which are complex and intricate, but above all else, smooth and enjoyable. 40 Creek Barrel Select features aromas of honey, vanilla, and apricot, fused with toasty oak, black walnut, and spice. On the palate, there is a rich and bold flavor completed with a smooth, long finish. So anyway, and I guess it was imported by Campari America, San Francisco. So interesting. I actually just worked in the city today, guys. Digging 3 trenches. Kind of a long day. So looking forward to doing this review. So anyway, you look at this and it's got a nice, pretty deep color, guys. Good solid medium amber, if not a little bit of on the dark side. Maybe from 6-year-old, 3 different whiskeys, 6 years old, blended together and then finished in sherry barrels. So maybe that's the sherry barrel in there. Let's give it a nose. Yeah, guys, on the nose, you definitely get those kind of sweet honey notes in there. Kind of a little bit of a floral thing going on too. And I also, I definitely get the barley note in there. It's got a very nice nose. Let's take a taste. And on the palate, guys, very interesting taste. It you can definitely you get some sweetness up front, but it's funny. It's like almost a spicy sweetness, like a sweet and spicy thing going on with that rye in there. Definitely get the barley in there too. So that sweetness probably from the corn, and then the spice from the rye, and then that barley note in there. So you're tasting all 3 of those whiskeys that have been blended together, which is pretty great. I mean, it's cool that you can taste all of them in there. So definitely some honey notes there. Definitely a fruity note. Maybe that's the apricot that we're talking about, but definitely a nice, I'd say like a dried apricot note in there. Definitely get some of that vanilla. The oak is in there, but very subtle. I'm not getting a whole lot of that oak, but like I said, just those 3 whiskeys blended together, the corn whiskey, the rye whiskey, and then the barley whiskey. You can taste them all in this. I mean, it's really nice how they kind of complement each other. And I really like this stuff. This is a very, very nice whiskey for $20, guys. Shoot. Of the Canadian whiskeys I've tried, this is definitely my favorite. So definitely recommend buying this. And shoot, $20, guys. I mean, $19.99. So that's it for this one, I think. As far as the rating goes, I want to give this a pretty good rating, guys. It's really good stuff. Definitely worth a try. And I want to give this an 87 out of 100. 87. It's getting up there, guys. Getting up there, high 80s toward the 90. 90 out of 100 would be like excellent. This is very, 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 very good. Maybe even excellent. This is good stuff. Good sweetness, good spice, and just a really good, well-rounded whiskey in my opinion. So that's it for this one, guys. I've seen a couple of suggestions out there as far as what to review next. I have a few lined up. I think this review here is number 92. So I have a few more lined up right now, and a couple of the ones you guys suggested, and then I'd like to decide before too long on what I want to review for number 100. I've got two in mind that I'd like to do for number 100, and they're two of my all-time favorites. Both of them are a little more expensive than what I usually review. One of them's in the $50 range, and one's about the $60 range. So I don't review too many whiskeys like that, guys. But every now and then, I'll splurge. I've been working a lot of OT lately, and shoot, if you're earning that money, just nothing wrong with treating yourself to something good, guys. So that's it. I look forward to talking to you guys soon, and until next time, cheers.